Welcome to Mr. Giant Reacts a Ting and Ting and Ting. And this video we're going to be watching here, I hope to get some laughs from it and Ting, and I hope you guys get some too. Do English people like American accents? Oh, this is going to be quite the view, I think. So, stick around and see what these British people think of American accent. Let's YouTube and simmer. See what go on here.
Time I won't just be staying in London. I plan to go check out some other cities in town. So if you have any recommendations on where I should visit next, let me know. I just might chase it up. Now, a while ago, I made a couple videos called What Americans Think About England. And throughout those videos, you'll notice a recurring theme that Americans really like the English accent.
Yeah, I think the cute accents, cute British accents. So I like their accent.
I love the accents there too.
I like their accent.
But their accents are kind of funny. It's kind of cool.
Their accents are pretty cool. I love their accent.
I like how they talk.
So today, I thought it'd be fun to see if the opposite is true. I want to see if the American accent or accents are just as good to them as the English accent is as good to us. I don't know. Let's go find out.
Let's check it out. That's a beat there.
So when you think of American accent, what type of accent are you thinking of?
On the internet, there's that typical American girl voice that's like, oh my god.
I can't really name the different regional differences. The only one that stands out to me is the New York accent. I'm kind of scared of anyone with that accent.
What?
I actually have a teacher with a New York accent, and she scared the shit out of me. So
For me, it's always the the nasally California, oh my god, awesome. that's the classic for me. Or California and Los Angeles and all that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's quite loud.
Yeah.
Can be loud. They pronounce the words really well. You understand them really easily, but
Right.
it can be a bit annoying sometimes.
See, mine's I had to go deep, is it Texas when they're really deep? Southern, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Texas in the south, or they all there's just one American accent. Here, you said, you go down the road, there's another accent. Whereas in America, I feel everyone just speaks the same.
I would say either the high-pitched Midwestern accent, especially female accent, or I would say your upper South, Tennessee, drawl, something like that.
Probably the New York accent.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the way they say coffee.
It's good sound.
Okay, now check this out. I've lived in several different places in America, okay? Right now I live in West Virginia. But here's the thing. I live in a place called Cabell County, okay? And a 10 minutes drive down the way here, there's a place called Wayne County. They call it, of course there's Wayne and then there's Out Wayne. Totally different accent out there. And for some reason I like that accent out there. But I also live close to Ohio, and the Ohio accent is slightly different. It's a kind of a mixture between southern and northern. And then, of course, Kentucky is right over the border there, you know what I mean? And, it's a hillbilly accent. My ex-wife is from a place called Wolf Creek, Kentucky. And, of course, I have a totally different accent than anybody here, you know? So sometimes people have a hard time understanding me. I tend to understand them a lot now, but at first I didn't. Now, the accent that I have the most trouble with, or had the most trouble with, was actually Eastern Kentucky accent, but that's simply because I think that's the first group of people that I've encountered in America. But funny story about the accents and stuff, I could not understand my mother-in-law's accent. So when I first met her and she's talking, you know what I mean, she'd say something. I don't understand what she say, and after a while it got so hard trying to translate the English that she's speaking to my English that I used to just sit there and go, So then one day my ex-wife came up to me and she said, what do you say to my mom? And I was like, I don't know. I was just nodding my head and shaking my head. And she said, well, she thinks you're crazy. Because apparently, when I was supposed to say yes, or respond with yes, I respond with no, or I'm not supposed to respond with no, I respond with yes. So she thought it was crazy. After a while, I got to understand what she's saying. So, we were fine. But, man, for the first, year or so, oh, Lord. And I'll make you an example. In Eastern Kentucky, they tend to, marry the words along. Okay, I remember one time my father-in-law was sitting there and the dog was bothering him. He had a dog, and he keep going gar gar. So I asked my ex-wife. I said, "Why is your father growling at the dog?" And she said, "He's not growling at the dog. He's telling the dog to get out of here." But instead of saying "get out of here," he's saying gar. Gar! He's one I never did get to understand. And I could tell you that straight up. Now, I've lived in New York, different accent. Passed through Boston, different accent. Passed through Chicago, different accent. Of course, live in Kentucky. Now living in West Virginia. I've lived in Tennessee. And they all have different accents. And of course, me, coming from a different country, I had to, translate all these accents into something that I could understand. You know what I mean? Most people think I'm African with my accent, and I had to explain to them that. Now, in the islands, each island have different accents also. I have a totally different accent to Jamaican, and not so much totally different from a Trinidadian because they're close to there. And, each country have different accents there, and most people think, when I speak, they said, well, you're Jamaican, and I was like, no, I'm Grenadian. Well, you sound like a Jamaican. So what I had to explain to them is, when we migrate here, our accent seems to blend because then we sort of try to speak the Queen's English, like proper English. So then we all sound alike. But if I'm speaking to a Jamaican who lives in Jamaica, sometimes I don't understand what they're saying, And in turn, I explain to them also that you can understand me now, but if I was to sit and get real comfortable around my brothers and them, you wouldn't be able to understand what I'm saying because my accent is going to change to suit theirs. Of course, do you have to take into consideration slangs and meanings of words that we use in different ways and stuff like that. But the accents are pretty interesting. This is a pretty interesting video here. Let's get back to it.
Really weird, but something not too dissimilar from your accent.
Oh, Midwest.
Yeah, exactly, Midwest. I definitely don't think default of New York or Deep South or anything like that. So yeah, something like Midwest, I'd say. Yeah. What are your general thoughts on the American accent?
I don't know. I think it depends on the person that it's coming from, but I like it. I think because it's the same language, but you use different words and kind of say things slightly differently. I think it's interesting. So I quite like having a conversation with an American person. I think because we grew up with a lot of American TV, so I'm just quite neutral to it. It's just an accent.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The American accent is like the English accent of the internet, and everyone digests content on the internet now. So now it means if you have an English accent, you're this kind of exotic token who just sounds a bit like Hugh Grant, sounds a bit kind of weedy and pathetic.
Right.
Whereas the American accent is kind of feels a bit more luxuriant in comparison.
Right.
There's a very annoying accent, but I don't know where it's from. It's hi, it's Cali, I don't know.
So I relocated to America when I was 16. At the time, I had a real English accent, and found it incredibly hard to be understood.
Oh yeah.
I would ask for a glass of water in a restaurant, and people actually wouldn't get it at all. So I deliberately started putting on a more American accent, can I get a water? Oh, I love it. Especially Boston accents. Yeah, I'm a New York fan. So people Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, when they come on and do a real Boston accent, I think it's great. And also the Deep South, I think it's fantastic.
I think the American accent is pretty understandable, but personally I prefer the English accent a lot more. It's nice, I think it's fine, but I just prefer an English accent if I had to decide.
Oh, one thing I would like to say is, I can't tell the difference at all between an American accent and a Canadian accent. So, you know.
Oh, I could
that's
tell the
Canadian.
What are you
difference.
talking to me?
That's the only one. That's the only one. They say I mean, what I think
You're
of as,
wrong,
like,
buddy.
standard American accent, like we discussed, like yours, like Midwest, I really like. I think of other ones like the New York accent, again, like the Deep South accent is like quite stereotypically funny accents. Like, you know, in comedies, you like would have like the Deep South like drawl, and it's like coming out with funny lines and things. So I think of that as a quite like comic sort of slant on things.
It can get annoying quite sometimes, but it can get quite whiny, but I also prefer the British accent, specifically on men.
I feel some triggered Americans are gonna be like, oh my gosh. To the people out there that are watching, could you give them your best American accent?
On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Where's that from?
Pink from Mean Girls.
I like my water bottle.
Hi, my name's Izzy, and this is my American accent.
Don't do that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, you were struggling,
My
sister.
name's Izzy, and I'm from America.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Park the car in Harvard Yard.
I'd like to drink a nice cold glass of water.
Water is wet. Because Australian. See, I can't do it. Yeah.
Water.
That's how everyone thinks British people say water.
Water. Interesting perspective from the English people. I appreciate you guys going out of your way to do this video. Now, if you're American and you're watching this video and you feel triggered, don't worry. There's a support group I made on Discord that you guys can join and discuss your feelings. It's called the Triggered One Support Group, so go ahead and join that if you feel triggered. And I'll probably make this video again in a different city just to get some different perspectives. And to the Americans out there that are watching this video, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the English accent. Something you like, something you don't like, let me know.
No, I could tell you one thing that totally and absolutely confused me about the American accent. They do not pronounce their T's. They don't, you know, like they were saying water. You know what I mean? There's a store down here that was spelled Lattas, but they say ladders. So when they send you to go find, they send me to go find ladders, I was looking for Ladders, and you know I went back and said no, there's no store like that name, and then they took me down there and showed me it's Latt semicolon or whatever it was S. That was the hardest thing to get used to. The fact that they didn't pronounce their T's. You know, because I say water and they think it's funny when I say water. Or when I say 30. Because they say 30. You know what I mean? Now, let me see. Can I do the hillbilly accent around here? I'm going to give it a shot. Well, I want to go up there and do something. I don't know. You know, a lot of people said, how come you don't have like one of them hip hop accent? I can't do that. It's just not in me to do that. You know what I mean? I've been living here since 1986 and I still have most of my Grenadian accent. As a matter of fact, I pretty much have all of it. Speaking to you on this video, I'm trying to speak as proper as possible so that you will understand me. But if I speak to my brother back home, I'm back into the Grenadian twang, accent, lingo, whatever you want to call it. Because I remember when my sister-in-law, they came up a couple of years ago, she said, you don't sound any different. Because I'm talking to you, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm back to being able to speak the way I normally speak. Now, when I'm on the phone, my accent gets a lot thicker for some reason. People have a lot harder time understanding me on the phone. So when I'm on the phone speaking to somebody, I have to really slow down. Because if I speak too fast, they don't understand. I have a buddy, his name is Scott Hall. And sometimes, I've known him for a while. I've known him since like, 2000. So sometimes I get really comfortable and I slip back in there and you have to stop me and say, could you translate? Because then I start going straight Grenadian on him. Anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link in the description for this video. And hey, I enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed too. I want to leave links for other videos that you could check out down there, up there. Go check it out, man. See what the vibe is and thing. Okay, in the meantime, you all take care of each other, alright? Cool runnings.